Hello and welcome to this short presentation on the mobile magazine opportunity, perhaps the opportunity of the century. Now, before we proceed on this presentation, let's agree that you are probably a business owner who communicates or wishes to communicate regularly with your clients, your prospects, even your internal customers, your staff, so to say, or maybe even the society, because nowadays organizations look at CSR, corporate social responsibility, and they do want to communicate on a regular basis with the people around. And whoever you communicate with, the essence remains the relationship management. So the question arises, how do you communicate with your stakeholders? Perhaps you send emails or even SMSs, whether it's a text message or a multimedia message, or perhaps you do newsletters. Speaking of which, if you are into the digital newsletters, it is so very interesting, isn't it? Where you could be building in clickable links right within the PDFs, where people could be redirected to another third-party site, whether it is just to opt in with the email addresses or whether to actually go and buy a particular product or service that you might be giving. Right? Or maybe you do podcasting, and that's so wonderful. You could be recording a podcast as you drive down, and then maybe you could be sitting in a coffee shop or even a beach and sending out podcast messages to your customers and clients. Or perhaps you are heavily into social media, the inevitable Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, what have you. Well, maybe you are more into the physical form of advertisements. Is it leaflets, brochures, or are you a big budget organization spending on ATL media ads like maybe the newspapers or even the television? Well, here is the news. Everything of this is going to look miniature compared to what I am going to reveal to you in just a couple of minutes. The whole world of communication in the business world is changing phenomenally. And just hang on and we'll share this with you in just a couple of minutes. Very importantly, something that has to be considered is how effective and measurable is your communication. Sure, if you're into email campaigns, you could always measure the delivery rate or even the click-through rate. How many of those emails got clicked through, or even the links within that email, how many were clicked through. But what is more important is what about the actionable points? Did the number of customers you wanted get down to buying the product or services you presented? Did your customers take the secondary action of recommending their own friends as you desired? Are you really able to measure your return on investment? Well, something wonderful is happening that is going to change all that. As we all know, publishing is something that is age old. It's a very successful business and it's a profitable business. With the emergence now of the mobile industry, these two industries are not just being shaken up, but there's a phenomenal convergence that is happening between these two industries. Let's move on and look at how really the tablet market has grown. iPhone, as we all know, created a huge success story. Now, what you see here are in quarters, right? So 12 indicates 3 years. And as we can see here, in just 3 years from the date iPhone was launched, it went on to sell over 40 million units, which by itself is phenomenal. However, look at what iPad did in that same period of 3 years from the date it was launched. Well, the sales recorded in 3 years from the date of iPad's launch was 140 million units, and as we speak today it stands at 190 million units sold. And for those of you who think, well, is it just 190 million? Is that a big deal? Let me remind you that not televisions, not Pepsi, not Mars chocolates, not McDonald's burgers, none of this, no nothing sold these kind of figures in the same period of 3 years that we are talking about. So it is really a phenomenal, huge industry waiting to be taken and tapped and exploited to the benefit of each business that exists. Well, more importantly and very interestingly, the consumer behavior, which is so very difficult for you and me to do anything about, is proven to be changing in favor of the digital magazines. Readers are spending more than 2.5 hours consuming the content on a digital magazines, says Omniture. And when you have your own digital magazine, an iPad magazine, not only can you just throw in text or images, you could be giving in audio messages there. You could be even recording videos and interacting with your clients. Now imagine your CEO giving a very important message which you want each of your customers to reach, and all you have to do is stream in a video right within the magazine. The customer doesn't even have to exit that magazine and go to a third-party site. You will have the video playing right within the magazine. Or how about if you're promoting a particular city, a particular destination as the destination of the month, you could be capturing a video of all the wonderful places out there and inducing your customers to maybe book tickets or maybe hotel rooms, stuff like that right from within the magazine. How cool is that? And that's absolutely true, because these digital magazines are so very interactive and engaging. You could be throwing in contests, quizzes, you could have opt-in forms and collect your customers' data so that you could be communicating with them again and again and inducing them to buy more and more of your products and services. You could offer discount coupons and drive them to use those to increase your sales and eventually increase the purchase of your products and services. Right, let's have a look at how really engaged are the readers on a digital magazine. Statistics shows that 68% of a digital magazine is paid content. Well, that means that more than 2/3 of the content in a digital magazine makes money. Isn't that awesome? And readers are so very interactive on a digital magazine that 73% people tap on ads. And 47% of those respondents actually take an action after viewing an ad. Now, which advertiser would not love a statistics like that? And 47% taking action out of 73% tapping on ads. That's amazing and awesome. And 64% more time is spent on iPad ads versus a traditional print ad. Something to really give a thought on, isn't it? Well, let's look at a few use cases for digital magazines. You could be using it simply for lead generation. You could be running presentations and trainings through a digital magazine, or use them as your catalogs and brochures, which you probably bring out every week or every month, spending so much money printing regularly. You could be using it very effectively to deliver your course content. And indeed, it's such a phenomenal brand builder. You could use it as a very, very effective local business marketing tool. Or you could simply replace your existing newsletter and use the digital magazine more and more to build and increase your credibility. Really, your imagination is the only limitation. You could be using it for so many things as well. Well, let's look at some of the benefits that you get as a magazine publisher. You start by having your expertise in the field established, and if you're already a recognized expert, then you maintain that. A digital magazine does help you to do that to your audience. But today we live with people who want everything immediately, right now, 24/7, where I am, isn't it? It doesn't matter whether your business is open or not, they still want the information that you have to give them. And using a digital magazine would be such an effective way to instantly communicate with your customers all over the world. And this is so very interactive, as we mentioned, not just text, not just images, but have videos within the magazine. It can go even beyond this usual thing of what have I to tell you. You could be asking your customers to record their testimonials and share it with your other customers, so that your credibility and your customer base keeps on growing continually. And here's the best part. There is absolutely no printing and no delivery cost. Whether you bring out a 1-page magazine or a 100 pages magazine, whether you bring out 1 a month or 10 a month, there is absolutely no cost. whether for printing or for delivery. Now imagine only 20 to 35% of your customers move out to regularly downloading it on their iPads. That's a cost reduction of 20 to 35% for you on the printing and delivery cost. Isn't it wonderful? And in addition to that, in addition to saving money, you could also be monetizing your magazine in so many ways, since your customers love to tap, love to interact, and love to buy all right from the magazine. Awesome. Well, who should consider digital magazine? I guess it would have been easier to talk about who should not consider digital magazines, but let's go on and have a look at it. You are probably a current publisher of print magazines. It is time, and it's a wonderful opportunity for you to move out also to the digital media. Digital magazines are here to stay. iPad magazines are already creating a huge ripple, and it is here to stay. Well, businesses in the travel and tourism sector, how about the real estate sector? You could be showing all the current projects, the current status of the projects, a 360-degree view of the projects where your customers have invested or where you want them to invest. And how about the hotels and hotel apartments, the hospitality industry? Well, the educational institutions today, everybody is trying to get students from all over the world because they have so much to offer. Why not highlight the benefits of your educational institute through this wonderful, effective media of digital magazine? Clubs and associations could effectively use this as well, whether it's a social club or a professional association, or maybe you're just an individual trainer and coach offering things of value to your customers, and this could be a phenomenal channel for you as well. So very briefly put, it could be any business who engages or wishes to engage with your audience, on a regular basis. Well, the question probably that's running in your mind is, all that is fine, but is it going to be easy or is it extremely complicated? Should I have knowledge about apps? Should I get into publishing? Should I send somebody and get programming capabilities? Should I be hiring people with design capabilities, and so on and so forth? Well, the good news is the answer to all this is a big no. Well, actually, you don't even need a website. Of course, it helps to have a website, but you don't even need a website to have your own mobile app, your own mobile magazine, which means you don't even need a domain name. You don't need hosting. You don't need any experience or technical skills. Well, you don't even need a product. And here's the best part. You do not need to drive any traffic, as you would necessarily have to do if you wish to have an effective website, because Apple comes in here and gives you enough and more eyeballs than you could ever individually drive, perhaps for your business website. And therefore you don't even need to bother about building a list, because again, Apple gives the opportunity to access the list of your subscribers and upsell them or cross-sell them with your other products and services. How wonderful is that? Well, what we said was a bit of a lie, a white lie perhaps. It is simple, yes, but it is not effortless. There is enough and more things to be done on this. You need to start by setting up and configuring your Apple and other related accounts. You need to submit the magazine to the iTunes App Store. Your files, whether the static ones or the videos, have to be stored on the cloud, and you need to engage in push notifications every now and then, which is very much like sending a one-click message to all your customers, your subscribers, to tell them, well, our next issue of the magazine is here and go download it, for example. And there are so many results that you need to track and tweak and improve upon. And how about the revenue reports, if applicable, of course, which means perhaps you're going to give it as a free magazine, which is fine as well. There are a lot of add-on values that come with that, or maybe you want to sell them, and if so, how much sold, what is the kind of revenue you made, and so on and so forth. And of course, there is a design element involved for the magazine covers, the inner pages, the banners perhaps, preparing and scheduling the content, and maybe you want to have a very effective social media, setting up and managing those, where you should engage your customers on a regular basis, managing your PR, and of course the monetization and cross promotions. So yes, there is enough and more to do as a magazine publisher, no doubt about it. But when we say it is simple, we say because we bring you a robust, time-tested, proven publishing platform that is in tune with Apple, which means that we help you to bring out your digital magazine the way Apple wants it to be. And our platform is from a NASDAQ listed company run by experienced technocrats and magazine publishers. And as a NASDAQ listed company, of course, it brings its own credibility. And even in this period of very few magazine publishers out there, over 600 magazines are currently publishing using our platform, and most of those magazines are commanding the top positions on the newsstand, which is indeed a matter of pride and privilege for us. And collectively, our clients have gotten more than 1.2 million subscribers, which is really awesome. We are getting ready for the on Android and Kindle as well to make it more sweeter for you. And last but not the least, we offer excellent training and support so that once you have access to our platform, you could be easily having your own digital magazines published sooner than you will realize. Well, how can we help? We start by offering you the license to this publishing platform, and that would be sufficient absolutely if you have your own team who can take on and get on with the designing the content, production, and publishing into the magazine newsstand. However, as a business owner, you're probably wondering, well, license is fine, but what exactly do I publish? How do I monetize? In this case, we are more than happy to come in as a consultant, either just for once or on a regular basis, and help you to fine-tune the magazine that you will bring based on your business needs, your clients, the geographies that you want to expand into, your current and future plans, and so on and so forth. Or we could take it one step further if you desire, and not only give you the license, but we can take it up as an end-to-end service where all you have to do is just give us the raw data, and our team of expert professionals will take it forward and help you to bring out an absolutely professional digital magazine as per the frequency that you desire, right? So, are you ready to move on and become the next magazine mogul? Do send us an email at info@cogs.co. You take care.